other things from Flint actually that I need to put on. Let me put that up.
You have people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever. Maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid, it's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it, you are structuring it, and from today we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working round the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
The Universal Council invites you to attend the One Planet, One Nation, One Race event in Rome on the 9th and 10th of September 2016. The Council looks forward to open interaction with the public at the event. Come interact with the Council in your spoken language. The Council encourages you to bring your positive suggestions and solutions to the table on how humanity can move forward as a whole towards everlasting peace. In this way, the work of the members of the Council will become the work of humanity for humanity. The full package price for a single ticket to the event includes 3-night stay in one of Rome's prestigious hotels, daily attendance to the event, as well as breakfast on the 9th through the 11th, and lunch and tea on the 9th and 10th. Accommodations for this package is based on double occupancy. The full package price for 2 tickets to the event includes 3-night stay in a twin-bed room in one of Rome's prestigious hotels, daily attendance to the event, as well as breakfast on the 9th through the 11th, and lunch and tea on the 9th and 10th. Additional night stay are offered at €150 per person per night. For those who wish to arrange their own accommodations and who plan on attending a single day of the event, the cost will be €200, which includes tea and lunch on the day of the event. For those who wish to arrange their own accommodations and who plan on attending both days of the event, the cost will be €400, which includes tea and lunch on the day of the event. The One Planet, One Nation, One Race event in Rome. Come share your positive solutions on how we can work together to bring everlasting peace to our world.
Welcome everyone to the 127th Knowledge Seekers Workshop with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, we're here on it's August 4th, 2016. And we've been through 126 workshops. The last one was the beginning. Yeah. So, Mr. Keshe, pardon me? Are you ready there now?
Yes, good morning.
Get you on the screen here.
Are you ready? Hello?
I think, yes, I think we're ready to begin. Go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good morning. Good day to you as usual. Wherever and whenever you listen to us. I have a very good news for you. Last night I was in the hospital with Naomi, and she has gained a substantial control and understanding, which we checked yesterday for the first time. We could tell her that if she can move her hand and legs, and she was responding to the questions. And it's the first time she has shown any sign of life, direct contact since the accident exactly 4 weeks ago. We hope with the technology we have, we should be able to balance the damages which are there. But the good news is that she's back with us. She's responding. She knows her birth. She knows her name. She's, for the first time, responding to movement if we ask to move the right or the left hand or the legs. So it's a matter of repairing whatever is left, which was the biggest problem. It's a is the celebration of life, and we thank for those of you who prayed for her wellness. On the other hand, the teaching in the process of now we're going to a new phase of development of the space reactors and the space technology in a sense of the development of the reactors. There are some more information which some have not understood and some have understood but they cannot see it. And now that we have developed the plasma GANs reactors, we see that there is a need for better understanding of the field flow and the interaction of the fields, because this has created some mayhem for some of you, and this has created some questions for some of you. How come this thing is responding in these manners? So it is important that we understand the totality of the process. And this is important for us to be able to maintain a certain amount of clear understanding of the field flow within the structure of your reactors. Some of you who have done some tests, you see things which are not the same as what you are used to in a physical condition motion. And now that you have these cores and you're testing them, and you have these cores that you are seeing fundamental changes or motions that you cannot understand, it is good to bring the position forward. Yesterday, we, in the test, have managed to achieve flight. In the process of, maybe I'll let the gentleman speak when he comes on, and in that process, we have managed to understand more, we see more, and as I said, as we understand more, we bring the knowledge and the know-how forward. The process, as part of your work, I need the whiteboard, please. Yeah. The process is to bring in the full understanding and the full process to where we can go and how we can extend the knowledge to the level that we can follow the processes, follow the field flows, follow the motion and condition. A lot of work has been done in respect to plasma. We know the plasma exits and the field of the plasma has to enter. But you have to understand what happens from any point in the life cycle of this field. And if you understand this, from now on, you can explain all the conditions and all the motions of the field within the structure of the plasma. As there was a mystery for a long time, where is a changing point that a field changes from gravitational to the magnetical? Where is the point of change? In the process of the teaching of past few years, now we understand it's the same field. So there is no change of point. Here we see it entering, here we see exit. So there is no change of polarity from south to north or north to south. Here we see full circulation of the field in the plasma. And in your reactors, in your plasma reactors, you will start seeing this, and this creates a lot of problem for those of you who have transparent bowls, because you see phenomenon, some sort of new reactions that you cannot explain. One of the reasons you cannot explain these reactions is that some of you have not understood or understood, but you did not make the connection. We always said a plasma is this way, and increasing the strength as you go to the center of the plasma, and reduction in the strength in gravitational the other way. So if you understood this, you'll understand what is opposite to everything which you have understood or assumed up to now. In a couple of teachings in the past, I referred to this, but at that time, you were not ready or it could not make sense. But you understand it now because you have systems which will show it to you. And if you understand it, it makes it very clear for you. Here, a plasma exits. Here, a plasma enters. As this plasma is moving on from one point to another, this plasma works opposite to what you have been used to, but it's within the work structure of the interaction of the fields in the plasmatic magnetical fields. What happens? As this plasma comes to here, for example, the plasma actually, to you, it gets weaker as it goes this way, and as it's weaker, enters here. But this is absolutely the opposite. It's absolutely and crucially opposite to what you assumed, that as it gets weaker, enters at the bottom. In interaction with the environmental field, the magnetical gets weaker. But as you strip and you go to the center, as you know, your gravitational strength. So when the field actually enters the gravitational magnetic field point of entry, is much stronger at this end than this end. What happens in this environment here is very much loading up condition, but a fast loading up. Here is a slow loading up. As much as it gives, it takes too. But here is majority loading up of the weaker strength magnetic field, which increases. If this is the gravitational magnetic field of exit, it has entered here at this point, but when it comes out, it's at this point. So it adds more of the lower strength and higher strength, slightly more. And this is the total conservation of magnetic field rotation. So what does this mean? If I redraw it for you, you have your system, you have fields which come out and go in and come out. And in this process, you enter a new dimension of understanding, and now a lot of your work should make sense. Here, you entered at this strength, but when you leave at this strength. This strength in gravitational, this strength in magnetical. But in the process, as you are moving to join back in, you lose all the weak fields. Because as we said, hydrogen is here, gold is here, plutonium is here. Here is the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth in respect to its central pull. So if you understood this, one of the anomalies in the world of science, which we know, becomes much more clearer. And that is even a simple why, for example, lightning starts from Earth and not from the cloud. Because of the gravitational magnetic field pull in respect to the cloud initiates the pull and the charges respond. In this process, if you understand that the fields which they enter the what you call the southern core are much stronger in gravitational on the strength than the magnetical of the plasma field, now you understand why you have the rotation. As the field goes further towards being attracted by the gravitational, it loses more of its magnetical, and the motion is continuous. So you receive in southern pole more of gravitation, less of magnetical. Then that's why the southern pole is colder, because it's getting pulled in for whatever field is, and it gets pulled. There is not much interaction. Here you have more of the magnetical, and that's why you get the opposite. North pole being vice versa. The temperature difference is the interaction of gravitational magnetic field on either end. It is, if you understand this, when you start building your reactor cores, by looking at how the field's vortex is created, it shows if you're in the magnetical or if you're in gravitational. At the moment, a lot of you have, or you use motors which have a magnetic field winding, and this affects the process and absorbs most of the lower field strength which are coming or are available. And in that process, most of the time, your field flow is this way. So you will see vortexes being created from the north-south. And as you have different cores, the interaction of these fields with some of the matter state or lower state fields start creating lights. For you to create plasma balls that can create light, and you can see light in them, that the light inside the ball becomes the light in the room, for example, where you are, you have to understand this process, and you can add very, very small dust fragments of a matter state in your balls. Anywhere you put, depending on the flow and depending how you speed it up, the ball will create light inside, not outside, and you will see the total light. Most of the time, you need to see this flow, then you understand if you are respect to the Earth gravitational magnetic field pushing down gravitation and pulling up the magnetical, and then you understand in some cases you will lift off. This knowledge is part of what you need to complete your work. But as usual, as I say, please understand the field flows. Please understand how you create the conditions. Your motors at the moment on the bottom absorb most of the weaker fields which are available. So you dictate due to your system field forces which are pushing the stronger or weaker. One of the ways to overcome and cover, you can put materials which interact with the fields of your motor. Aluminum, copper, has to be mainly what these are not made of. So whatever you don't have, you possess. And in possessing and conditioning it, it allows you to create lift, to create motion, to create currents. For those of you who understand the plasma at this level, you become masters in it. You can see the creation of the vortex internally. Exactly, if you remember, in the double cores or in the single cores, initially, what we saw last year, the year before, when the plasma was a single core with a gas in it, we saw the empty space, we saw the liquid state, and we saw the gas state. Now that you have created 2 or 3 layers of gravitational magnetic fields in different layers of GANs, the game changes. This chap here has another chap waiting for him here. Another chap created by this here. So what you're going to see is a vortex flow that they link up. So your system, if you look from the top in respect to the rotation which you have in this direction or this direction, is very much creation, a hollow field center in the structure. If you look to overview on the top of this, you have something like this. And these fields in the center is the polar points. For you to see, to understand this, is that all the 3 fields, this trying to feed to itself, this trying to feed itself, and this already centralized, creates this column. This is the property of multi-matter state entities like Earth. In the singular entity, if you load up all your gases exactly the same, precisely the same, you will find this process. But because you have a mixture gas, you see such a thing. And this is important. Rick, do you have the video which has been loaded to show this process?
Which video, Mr. Kesh?
There is a video loaded by Douglas where we see this very clearly. Douglas, do you know where the video is? Or we can go on your laptop and we can see it on your laptop directly to share a screen?
Mr. Kesh, I have prepared it ready here. It's Renan.
Okay, Renan. Can you show this test we did yesterday?
Okay, sir.
The column of the fields, please, that we can understand, and then people can play with this.
Okay, I will share screen.
Please. you see the column gets created in the center. It's a clear column. Even what is interesting is that the center mass, the center ball, is full of GANs. It's dark black. But it becomes, you see, it's dark black. At a certain point at the highest speed, because of the interaction of the field, it becomes totally transparent. Is Douglas there who can explain to us, please, what you've seen, and if you can share? We had a video yesterday, it was recorded, while we see the cylindrical column being made in the center.
Yes, Mr. Kesh, I'm here.
Yes, Douglas, could you share the video if you have it with you, please?
Yeah, I sent them both to the cloud. I can pull them up if you need me to, sir.
Yes, please, if you could.
Which one are you wanting?
The one which you show central column fields, when we were watching yesterday on the tests.
Okay, sir. Just give me a minute or two. I'm gonna have to get into my files and find it. Just a second.
No problem. One of the things, when you're ready, give us a call. We go back on the screen share, please. What I'm gonna, can we stop the screen share? One of the things which you will see, and you saw last Tuesday, and we can show you many of it, and even if you start testing it, you'll notice something very interesting, but you've seen it. We can show it to you again in different videos, where when you have the coil in a way that you fill this with a lot of water or liquid plasma, at a certain point, this totally empties itself. Where this is empty and all the water and everything else is outside. There is no hole, there is no cavities, there is no possibility of any liquid to come out of the place. But what happens is that where this central column starts creating, the fields then take a total different field force and they start pushing out. Is that small cavity we saw from the beginning last year in the bowls now start expanding. And as its fields are strongly expanding and it creates a field balance, the liquid goes to the other side. The matter state is irrelevant. So when you see the splashes of the water, this usually empties. Even the half empty top is not air at all. This is a total plasma. And as the liquid takes over, going out, the plasma increases. And what you're going to have is a plasma field here, which now interacts, and your hole, which was here, now sits outside. What we've done, and you will see this in the test to come, hopefully what you see, that this field now, we are making a trap for it. We are making it to contain it, and in that containment, more or less, according to what we see, creates lift and motion. In a test which Arman is doing, we have put the limitation of the lift at the copper level. In the test which Douglas will be doing and is doing, we have put the limitation on aluminium. The aluminium is chosen for a specific reason, because of its lower strength compared to outside strongest, that it creates a push that the system will fly much easier, will find its position much easier. This is very, very important, because in fact, if you can tap to this aluminium, you can pick up as much energy as you need. And if you make the mixture between the three reactors equally balanced as you want, this will float and it will rotate independent of any motion. At the moment, Douglas has achieved the rotation of the ball without any material, that the balls, due to internal gravitational magnetic field, interact and release field forces between the three balls. And not only they don't let each other to sink, but in not sinking, they float, and one moves clockwise, the other one moves anti-clockwise, and for the first time, we see the motion of the plasma as it is in the universal condition, where field forces create motion under interaction, both in gravitational and magnetical field. Douglas, are you ready? Hello?
Trying to unmute Mr. Cash. 1 second.
Okay, no problem. You can show after that the ones we were looking at this morning, where the ball floats and their motion.
Okay, actually, that's the one I've got pulled up first, Mr. Cash.
Okay, show it, no problem.
If you're ready to do, we can show that one.
Okay, go ahead, do that one.
Okay, I'm showing my desktop. All right. Can everyone see the ball?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll play it from here. Right now, I'm just using a bamboo stick to prop up the camera a little better so you can get a better view. That's my 7-year-old in the background whispering. He loves watching this ball spin.
What you see is the interaction of the fields. In reality, because the center ball is much heavier, it should be sinking to the bottom. The same system later on shows with a different structure that it actually sinks and sets. So what you see now is fields interaction creating the rotation, like the 24 hours rotation of this planet, where the outside is the field for example, this solar system.
Deflect that magnetic field. See if that does anything.
Now you see the speed changes.
Move that
rotation changes.
Out of the way. I never even. I wasn't even thinking about having a magnetron magnets. It is just a hole for it to sit in.
This is exactly the rotation of the universal motions.
Okay.
The two black pieces of the bottom are magnets, which creates or gives back a soft indication of the field flows of the central universal field forces. The copper plate is for blocking any magnetic field to a certain strength because it acts like a filter. And you see the rotation is permanent. It's replication of the rotation of planetary system or the solar systems in the galaxies. This comes from the interaction of the fields. This comes from being able to allow the fields to interact naturally. Now you see it's changed the direction of one to the other.
Yeah, at that last part there, my children were, sorry about that. I had to edit that out.
If not, it would have been
no problem.
they were arguing.
It's okay. Yeah. Can you show us the other one with a vortex in it?
Yes, sir. I'll have it right up.
Can you still go on the share screen, please? So these are the new, we never had this opportunity to study the real structures. According in how you mix your liquids, the plasma and liquids, you create different conditions. If you can create the different mixtures that can lead to a faster rotation, you can achieve conditions like neutron stars. Now, for the first time, you can leave many of these balls in a tank, and you see how they interact. Because the center is continuously rotating on its own, and the others have the same kind of center rotating on their own, they create a field that now you can see the structure of molecular structure of elements. You can create the condition of, for example, zinc with oxygen or two oxygens and see how they position themselves. Why? While internally they're creating their own gravitational magnetic field, externally they interact with the others, and while they are there independent, but the totality of the two or three elements creates its own atmospheric condition of what we call the Coulomb's barrier of the molecule. This is a very good replication of what is to be understood, and how furthermore we can start seeing the reality in the operation of the atomic molecular, what you want to see as a geological movement of the Earth, or in cosmology. There is no more guesses. We can create it and absolutely see without any factors. We can create it, replicate it, we will see the effect. Go ahead, please.
You ready, Mr. Kish?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, please excuse my excitement. I'm just going to forewarn everybody.
Less unique. I haven't seen that one yet. Every time this thing starts to start moving off the ground there.
I'll let you explain, Mr. Kish. I'll let it run in the background.
Doing good, you're not going to be able to see the reaction there. We'll let it go again for a second. It spun me right out of there. I felt it. There it's moving. Have to stop it. I got. For whatever reason, like Mr. Kish is explaining, the ball is not cracked anywhere, but the water comes from the outside in. Yes, I'm on the camera. What is it? Let's see here if I can.
Now, y'all notice the ball's dry. You see, the ball's not covered with any water. You know, that's what was kind of amazing about that the water was coming out of it, which kind of freaks you out. But when you see the ball's dry, that's even more astonishing. Oh.
What it would be when it goes to the empty condition is the ball will interact with the plasma. So it's like in a plasmatic vacuum condition, natural. And this is important in the processes, you understand. You can create universal vacuum without any vacuum itself. So you allow the matter to exist, but the field forces to be there to interact as the matter is there. we're doing some other tests that hopefully we can show you live.
You
After
can
this
see it
video.
move right there. Right there is the perfect example of it moving on its own, without any interaction. It's trying to take off right now. Now earlier when I did this, when me and Mr. Kesh were doing this, neither one of us were recording, and the platform actually raised off of my plywood table that you've seen at least 4 inches. It is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't describe how excited I am about this, and I've only scratched the surface of this. But it was astronomical. You can ask Mr. Kesh. I was so excited. He was trying to get me to calm down, and both of us were trying to record, and I couldn't get a camera, and I couldn't figure out how to do it on Zoom. So we missed an opportunity, but I promise you that we will have another one within a day or so of this thing lifting up off of the table a good 4 to 6 inches for sure, if not even further.
Douglas, you have a thingy set up this morning with an empty bowl. Have you tested it yet with a chicken foil or aluminum foil yet?
Yes, sir. We have started with the ball and took the I drained all the outer core and made it completely empty, and we put it on the motor, and I had a problem with the adhesive sticking. It's not drying fast enough, and listen, you told me the other day, you can hear I went and got my daughter's hair dryer, so that's actually what I was doing when you called me up just a minute ago.
Can you go on your camera and show it to us, please?
It's actually tore apart right now, Mr. Kesh, because I slung the ball through it when it come unglued. It ripped it to shreds, so the aluminum foil, so we got to rebuild it. I really am sorry about that. I wish I could.
No problem. No problem. Can you share the screen if your yellow box is still on to show us that the system is still running with no battery?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. You got to realize this system has no power supply that supplies power in the background. This system now is running through totally plasmatic condition. Plasma is releasing its energy, and can you share the screen if you have covered your piece that we can see, please?
My hat in the background. And like I said the other day, this is not a necessity. This is just my composite water that I'm using for my reactors. I've just got it sitting back there because
can you show us the light?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the lights all three will come on. Yeah, they'll come on. I can turn it off and on whenever at will. I think the Dremel tool's hooked up to it. Now listen. This is how this kind of electricity works. You'll notice the RPM is gaining, and it'll keep getting higher. Eric, continue to build. It keeps going higher in pitch.
Is the fridge still on?
Yes, both of them. Yeah.
Can we have a look? So this is a normal house situation where the freezer running as you need.
Nice gallon of lemonade in there that I keep, and it's frigid cold. There's a glue gun I've got on the load right now. I've got a minimal load on it, just a glue gun and the.
Can you switch the lights off? We just don't see anything, please.
Yeah, they'll blind you. I keep them off too. They blind me. But when I want free power, like the gun over there and all that, I run into that. And I just happen to be over here is the reason I've got the hair dryer. But I can, I'll show you real fast. And this is a 1500 watt hair dryer. Most of you the women out there, they know that by heart. That has to be plugged in according to its polarity. And since it has a surge protector on it, I had to unplug something to get it in there right. But 1500 watts, no problem. Hot, blow your hair, free. Mr. Obama ain't gonna like it, but oh well. I don't know what to tell him.
We are, as I said on Tuesday, we are developing this generator to become more compact. We are more or less on a solid state position. There is some more developments we are testing here. The team in the Philippines is adding testing different options on it. And in Italy, we are developing different aspects of it. When in next couple of weeks, we reach a point of what we will be satisfied, the production starts immediately because we have different aspects of looking at it. On the other hand, this is again a matter state energy. What we spoke and showed with the cores, rotational cores, will create what we call wireless technology, wireless energy. Here we are still connected to the matter state and you have to plug in the process to come. Thank you very much, Douglas. Thanks for your work. In the process to come. Thank you indeed. Go to sleep, you've been up too long. In the process, at the moment, what you saw, that's a solid state. In a coming time, what I see, you have to develop it. I just guide it, is that you have such a field which radiates out, and what you need to do is to create very miniature, like the small receivers you have on the computers, miniature units which will receive enough energy at any point that it converts to supply, let's say your laptop, your fridge, your drill, or whatever. This is the future. Within the next, hopefully, couple of weeks, some of you should achieve it, or in the Innovation Center, we'll go in that direction. Once now we see the field pushing the water out, we know that the fields now is transmitted. For us now is to build a small, very small miniature opposite to this. What is inside has to be outside. What is outside has to be inside. And depending on the mixture of what is inside, outside, you create yourself a wireless energy supply. Tesla showed part of the magnetic city of this one. You can put your system in Moscow. You pick up your energy in New York. This is the target we are going very soon. Next step for this is in the opposition, the creation of the light through the plasma. You should achieve it. We saw it yesterday or the day before in some tests. And now when we add the matter state to it, it just creates a continuous light, because as the balls rotate, as the fields rotate, they will create the fields that they will give you the impression and the light you want to see. If you go a step further in this development and choose the mixture inside the center core at this level as the creation of the emotion highly zinc based with a calcium, you can interact with a man who already has a short in emotion. So we can satisfy with one system every need of a nation or change of the course of the emotion of the humanity. This is the ultimate goal. We know this at the moment. We have satellites. Now we have emotional satellites. We can create it. and we can dominate it. We can control it very heavy. Those of you who are testing in the background, in the medical side, if you start creating these kind of cores, and you understand that in that structure, you have to have the condition of one to be stronger, that this weaker brain of the man emotion will receive it. You will understand people with cancer, people with Alzheimer's, people with Parkinson will just literally go into the system and walk off without none, because it's the field flow. We expect that Dr. Klaus' team in Austria, who are manufacturing the medical system, soon will be able to demonstrate this after the holidays, because we can physically control it, we can physically dictate it, and now we have no dimension in control of the field. If we decide, we can create the gravitational magnetic field of some of the most distant planets, galaxies in this universe. We can find out what their position is, or their strength is, what material they're really made of, replicate a weaker of the strongest, and you will start traveling. As we know, some of you have lost and cannot find some balls which are in the center, and this is how it has to be, and then we understand. Is Peter from Austria online that he can bring him in?
Yes, Mr. Kesh, I'm here.
Peter, could you explain to us, if you can show us, share a screen in what happened in your test, please?
I don't have it anymore. It's you know, that I have only the outer ball that is crashed, and then by now I could find the second ball also crashed, but I couldn't find the inner ball. It is disappeared for sure. And I looked on all the room. It's not a big room, so I can very easy find anything. I know the last days my wife lost a 2 millimeter diamond, and we could even find this, but this 2 centimeter ball I couldn't find. It's lost.
So you have 1 diamond richer and 2 balls shorter.
Yes, yes.
So can you explain to us how was the composition? The point is, from now on, that we share the knowledge that the other people can replicate. And as you replicate, post everything on the internet, post it on the Keshe Foundation, what do you call it, testimonials. Because this is the way the process will change very rapidly. Don't be afraid to post, because now the more people, it becomes like the nanotechnology when we brought it in, and then we brought the wires, and then the winding, and then the coils, and then the GaNs. Now this is the next step. Motion, conditioning, creating materials. Now we enter that phase, and we have to carry on developing it. And in a few weeks' time, a lot of you will be in that stage of plasma technology. At the moment, you're using liquids in the core, which you will see with Douglas. The outer core now is totally empty. We asked Douglas and his wife, totally extracted. It's free, empty. But because the GaNs material were inside, they have created a zone. They have created a condition which the plasma fields exist. Now the interaction of the center ball will be in the plasma. So we are going away from the liquid plasma to the field plasma. And this is the very first demonstrations of it. Can you give us all the details, what you did that the others can replicate, please, Peter?
I don't know if it's so important, because
of course.
What I did.
Let me explain to you. We are not here to teach monkey do, monkey does. We are here to inspire. You understand? So if they understand, they get inspired and they test it. Not necessarily they cannot make exact mixtures you did, but they'll find another way and another understanding